Hi, I'm Beatrice. There are those who seem to be giving Texas some fairly nefarious looks lately. Is Texas offensive or so hard to understand? Are we Texans so different from the nation in so many ways that some would question how we live with our values? Is there something they see in Texas that threatens their way of life or their ability to produce? I can't imagine it, but then I have to ask, why? Why are these factions mounting a full frontal assault on Texas? Well, let's take a look at who they are and consider how valid their concerns may or may not be. The first one I'll mention is the RNC. This year it seems to some that Texas is being snubbed by the RNC. First, it's easy to notice right up front, with the Bushes out of the picture, the Texas delegation to the National Convention has been put about as far from the convention as possible. But that's just geography. The RNC also seems to see no reason for Texas to be one of the first states in which to hold a primary, even though there are 155 delegates up for grabs. Samoa goes before Texas, for crying out loud. Texas has the largest conservative bloc of voters in the nation. We're guaranteed to vote Republican with no concern that the independent spirit of Texas could lead to an independent party vote. I offer the idea that the RNC could be afraid that Texas might lead the way to a reformed Republican Party, one that's more interested in freedom and principles than in the good old boy wheeling and dealing that is the current modus operandi. Also on the list, the NAACP and La Raza. The NAACP and LULAC spent a lot of energy tying up our primary because they didn't like the way districts were drawn. Texas RNC platform urges that the Voter Rights Act of 1965, codified and updated in 1973, be repealed and not reauthorized. The U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder is more interested in attacking the state's rights with an assault on Texas, blocking the state's recent voter ID law. They use half-truths and complete lies to say that we, one of 9 states that don't have the right, are a threat due to our history, our ancient history, a history that is certainly no worse than California's or Washington's history. Attorney General Eric Holder blocked the state's recent voter ID law, citing that Texas is violating voting standards, while he refuses to charge the Black Panther Party for coercion at the doorsteps of the polling booth. They use all available media, including Texas' own Chronicle, to spread half-truths and outright lies as propaganda. The feds are well aware that Texas offers several types of free identification forms to be used for voting. With voter fraud a constant concern, the feds fight against an honest election. Even Mexico knows to mark a voter with ink to ensure 1 vote per person. And of course there's the LGBT. Those who prefer sex between 2 women, sex between 2 men, sex with every gender, and those of questionable gender. The LGBT are attacking Texas. Why? Maybe because the Texas Republican platform indicates that the practice of homosexuality tears at the fabric of society and contributes to the breakdown of the family unit. Texans do not in any form or fashion suggest discrimination against LGBT's right to practice sex in the privacy of their home as they see fit. We do oppose, however, this very small minority dictating to the majority, and it is a majority of Texans that believe the attack on the family and moral fiber of our state is a more imminent danger than terrorism or the economic collapse. We will not discriminate, but neither will we offer special privilege to this minority, and to me, that seems fair. And the progressive machine. Progressives are attacking Texas because they see only antiquated insanity in our values. Why so much attention on Texas? This group is in complete amazement that Texas could be so primitive in their approach to life. They don't see Texas as cosmopolitan, but rather falling behind 21st century thinking. This from Travis Waldron of thinkprogressive.com on June 26, 2012. The 5 craziest policies in Texas Republicans' 2012 platform. 1. The party opposes almost all forms of taxation. 2. It supports returning to the gold standard. 3. It supports privatizing Social Security. 4. It opposes multicultural education and critical thinking. 5. It supports corporal punishment in schools. So what? This is Texas, and we believe in states' rights. The only item listed that needs clarification is the one about critical thinking. Opposed to what is promoted by the mainstream media arm of the progressive machines, Texans do think about things other than, how can I keep from stepping in cow manure? We are not opposed to critical thinking. Ever heard of NASA, or Texas Children's Hospital, or the University of Health Sciences? The problem we have with critical thinking is the form it takes under a progressive agenda. You know the one that Hugo Chavez hired Bill Ayers to teach in his country? The same Bill Ayers that gave Barack Obama his first $40 million to buy votes in Chicago as a community organizer? We oppose indoctrinating students with the idea that truth is derived from synthesis, as first taught by Kant, rather than antithesis, as believed for 4,800 years, a truth based on absolute values. In closing, it is sure that though the RNC can be fixed, the other factions will not be. All of those attack entities are fingers of the real danger, the progressive machine. We have fallen behind thinking that if we work hard with a conservative mentality and just mind our own business, everything else will just fall into place. We are guilty of this passive thinking and certainly of misreading the severity of the situation. But now we see. Now it is clear that the machine has been hard at work for decades. They see the back door wide open, and they plan to make their big push now. Even if we stop them now, we must be diligent, because they will be back. They will not rest until they fundamentally change this nation. So where the direction of Florida may be the most important short-term issue, right now, it is clear that the machine sees Texas as the biggest roadblock for their long-term plans. I'm Beatrice. May God bless Texas, and God bless the United States of America.
For other great podcasts and more, be all fired up. Go to www.allfiredupmedia.com.
I've got to get better at this. I'm going to get better at this.